Hello, and I want to welcome you on a discussion on slope-intercept form. We're going to dissect what the formula is. We're going to take some lines written in the ax plus by equals c form and write them in the y slope-intercept form. We're going to talk about parallel lines and perpendicular lines as well. So let's get started. Let's discuss what y equals mx plus b as a formula means. So let's start by dissecting what each piece of this equation is. Y and x are both parts of a point on a line. Y point on line. X is the x point on a line. Together, these make a coordinate pair that you can graph on the four-quadrant plane. What's most important are the m and b. M is the slope, as we learned in the previous video, and b is the y-intercept. Slope and y-intercept are the most important parts of this equation, hence the name slope-intercept. So that means all we need to know is what's the coefficient in front of x and what is being added to that. And that will give us the slope and the y-intercept. And remember, we will be able to graph these later on. So let's get started by looking at some problems. So we want to write the equations in slope-intercept form and identify what slope is. So that formula is y equals mx plus b. So let's start by looking at number 1. 3x plus y equals 7. So to get started, we want to solve for y. So subtract 3x on both sides. So we have y equals this over here, 7 minus 3x. We will not be able to do anything with that, so you can just drop it on down as 3x, negative 3x plus 7. And now we have it in the y equals mx plus b, where m is the coefficient in front of x. In this case, it is a negative 3. Well, right, let's identify b. b is positive 7. We can write that as the coordinate pair of 0, 7. Looking at number 2, negative 2x minus 3y equals negative 9. To get started, we want to solve for y. So to begin this, we want to add 2x on both sides. So negative 3y equals, drop down 2x minus 9. Okay, we want to solve for y, so divide both sides by negative 3. So we have y equals, over here, a minus 2 over 3x, and then negative 9 divided by a negative 3, we have a positive 3. So from this we can gather that the coefficient in front of x is the slope, or m equals negative 2 over 3, and b equals a positive 3, or a 0, 3 in parentheses as the coordinate pair. Looking at number 3, we see that y equals 6. There is no x, meaning the slope is 0, and the y-intercept is just 6. Over here, we see that there is a 1 in front of every variable. It doesn't already have a coefficient there, so that can mean that the slope is 1. This is already in y-intercept form, and that the slope in the y-intercept is 0, or the coordinate pair 0, 0. And finally, to discuss parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay, parallel slope. Two lines are parallel if they have the blank slope. They have the same slope. As you can tell here, that the slope is that coefficient in front of the x, and it is 2. Both of those share the same coefficient, so that means that parallel lines are going to look something like this. They will never cross, and they're going to be right beside each other. Perpendicular slope. Two lines are perpendicular if their slopes are blank of each other. Negative and reciprocals. That means just take the coefficient in front of one of the x's, make it negative, and then flip it. Notice that this is already over 1, so all we did was take that fraction in flip position, making it 1 over 9, and adding the negative. So this means that when you graph it on the 4-quadrant plane, that the slopes will intersect